The Center for Unhindered Living presents Plus Size Polyamory with Judy and Alan, where our motto is, don't follow the crowd, follow your heart. Episode 18, Can Polyamory Save Your Marriage? Good morning. I hope you're having a great day so far. Welcome to episode 18. This is Judy. And today, Alan is joining us as our co-host. Thanks for being here today, Alan.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
So today we're going to be discussing, can polyamory save your marriage? So before we did this research for the episode, would you have said that this was possible, Alan?
Honestly, I think it could.
Okay. Well, in fact, some people wonder why we devote so much time and energy to this topic because polyamory is just a fad, right?
Well, not according to Amy Moore, as a researcher at the National Center for Institutional Diversity at the University of Michigan. Moore has recently conducted a study published in the Journal of Sex Research that looked into the prevalence of Google searches involving non-monogamous relationships. The study looked at the number of searches for the terms polyamory, open relationship, and open marriage from 2006 to 2015. Her research found that, indeed, interest in non-monogamy has been growing steadily. More and more people are interested in non-monogamous relationships, with 1 out of every 5 reporting that they are now or at one time have engaged in some type of non-monogamy.
So that doesn't sound like a fad.
No, it doesn't.
So can non-monogamy save your marriage? Here's an example. Jenny's affair shook her marriage to the core. Her husband was devastated and she was panicked. She still loved him and didn't want to lose the life they built together by ending their marriage. But limiting her romantic life to a monogamous relationship with her husband, Jenny realized was just impossible. An open relationship, or ethical non-monogamy in this case, seemed to be a far better choice, one that might save her marriage.
Before she met her husband, Jenny was a free spirit, enjoying no strings attached hookups with a circle of male friends. In the early years of her marriage, she accepted that her days of untethered intimacy were over. The memories of non-monogamy tugged at her sometimes, but her love for her husband and children always pulled more strongly. Sacrificing that youthful pleasure was worth what she'd gained in her new life. Besides, she'd made a commitment to stay faithful to her husband, and that was that.
Or was it? Jenny and her husband worked past her affair and then, in a series of long conversations that took place over a number of years, negotiated a new agreement. They'd embrace ethical non-monogamy and open their marriage to other romantic partners while still holding tight to each other. Jenny looked up some old flames and continued some new relationships. And despite her initial reluctance, her husband embraced the new phase of their now polyamorous relationship and entered into long-term relationships with a woman he'd met at his co-worker that he met at his workplace.
As Jenny and her husband's sex lives grew to involve more people, a funny thing happened to the two of them. Free of any fear or worry about potential cheating, they treated each other with newfound trust and openness. Jenny even helped her metamor, the term for her husband's girlfriend, get a job at her company. Beyond having to explain to coworkers why her husband kissed 2 women when he visited the workplace, the stress drained out of their relationship. "It saved our marriage," Jenny said, "but that's probably only because there was something there to save."
So there are a couple of things about this story that I'd like to point out. First of all, Jenny and her husband negotiated these things over years. It's something that slowly evolved. So if your marriage is in imminent danger of breaking up, you will probably need to get some immediate help. It doesn't mean polyamory couldn't be helpful, but that you should probably first visit a therapist and make sure that the other more pressing marital issues are dealt with. And secondly, they negotiated an agreement. It can be verbal or in writing, and it spells out each partner's rights and responsibilities.
In Jenny's case, the problem stemmed from the fact that she had abruptly stopped practicing her sexually open lifestyle and missed it. But in many relationships, there are other problems that develop during the marriage that need to be addressed. Poor communication, taking each other for granted, issues of sexual compatibility, and issues of not respecting the other person's boundaries, just to name a few. If these issues are not dealt with, polyamory isn't going to help.
Yes, in fact, choosing to embrace polyamory in this circumstance serves only as an escape mechanism to deflect attention away from the real problems that are in the relationship. So on the blog Polyland, which I recommend everybody visit, whose polyamorous author, obviously, surprisingly enough, does not give us his name, lists some things polyamory won't fix. So see what you think about these. The first thing it won't fix is breakups. Now, in Jenny's situation, it did prevent a breakup, but that was a very specific circumstance. It won't always be that way. In general, the more people you have in your life, the more potential for more breakups.
The second thing is you still can't date everyone you have feelings for. Polyamory gives you the opportunity to explore more connections, but you still might fall for someone monogamous, or the person you fall for still might not dig you. It happens.
No one is going to complete your relationship, no matter how strongly you feel to the contrary. Because, honey, if your relationship was incomplete before you opened up, it's going to be incomplete afterwards. In fact, many couples find that polyamory exposes issues in the relationship that were previously unaware of.
You still have to control yourself and exercise reasonable caution. If anything, you have to control yourself more because more people will be hurt if you mess up.
If you cheated while monogamous, you may still have issues with honesty that you bring into your polyamorous relationship. Cheating can still happen, even if you're polyamorous. Depending on the agreements that you make with your partners, you may still not have the freedom to add more new connections. And if you embrace polyamory thinking you will have no oaths to break and no limitations, you might be surprised to find this is not the case.
Polyamory doesn't fix low self-worth. You can end up as a relationship collector if you have a constant need for love and attention. It's never a good idea to try to have it's never a good idea to try to fuck your way to better self-esteem.
I agree.
Pardon my language.
It's okay. There are no language barriers on this show. So you still might feel lonely sometimes or end up spending time alone. Your other loves might be busy with their other loves or obligations. Sometimes holidays are hard because your partners have to choose who to spend time with. There's only so many hours in the day.
Hopefully, polyamory stands on its own merits and doesn't need to be seen as a relationship fixer.
And hopefully, you'll make every effort to fix your personal issues so that they won't interfere with your relationships, whether polyamorous or monogamous. Visit the Center for Unhindered Living's blog at unhindered-living.com. Join our Facebook page at facebook.com/unhinderedliving. Have something to say about this? Leave a comment. Join the discussion. Thanks for listening and have a great day. Currently, episodes of this podcast can be found on Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, and Radio Public, as well as our YouTube channel. Thanks for listening. See you next time.